Are you one of the 75% of contractors whose financial statements are inaccurate? Find out. Click on the link in the show notes and you'll get a free P&L and balance sheet check.
This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here, discover ideas, tactics, news, and strategies that matter to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Financially Fit Business. Get the business tool that makes your financial statements come alive and helps you grow profitably, build wealth, and significantly impact your life and the lives of your employees. Go to www.financiallyfit.business and get started today. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business and you. Do you know what your business assets are? Wait a minute. Before you say that's a really stupid question, of course I know what my business assets are. Listen in. They may not be what you think they are. So let's find out the true meaning of business assets as they relate to our industry. With me to answer this question is AaronSalow, CEO of XOI, and Ryan Martineau, co-founder and CEO of Specifix. Aaron and Ryan, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Thank you for having us, Ruth.
Thanks a lot, Ruth.
My pleasure. All right. So let's hit it, because you look at assets a whole lot differently than other people, other contractors in the industry might even look at them. So let's start there.
Yeah, love to. And I'll kick it off and hand it over to Ryan as well. But, I think as you look at the industry as a whole, we're selling uptime in a lot of ways, efficient uptime, and doing that in a whole host of different ways. And it was interesting to us from XY's perspective as we continue to serve technicians across North America and the world now. It was clear that not every organization had a good view of all the assets they serviced, and ultimately all sorts of different information about those assets, from the specifications on how they came out of the factory to how they may have performed over time to service bulletins and documentation. And when we think about the underlying value of what we do as an industry in HVAC being tied to the asset, both residentially and commercially, it was an interesting opportunity to start to surface those insights. And when I met Ryan and his team, it was clear that they had done something really impactful for the industry by taking something that was really manual and really hard to get at scale and made it really easy to digitize. And so when we thought about all the assets we'd collected through our customers over time and how we could continue to serve them, our partnership and ultimately the acquisition of Specifix was based in, we can add a ton of value for contractors when it comes to understanding their assets at a deep level. So Ryan, go ahead and tell them about Specifix and a little bit more about the asset side.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So Specifix data was formed to solve a long-standing major pain point in the commercial and residential HVAC market. And namely, that is that most asset owners or service providers like contractors really don't have a good sense of the equipment that those asset owners own and manage. And so there's got to be a good way to figure out what that equipment is. And for every commercial HVAC unit, there are probably up to 120 unique asset attribute fields that describe that equipment. So specification data. What type of equipment is it? Is it a rooftop unit? What type of rooftop unit is it? What is the age of that equipment? What is the life cycle? Dimensionality, heating and cooling stage information. Is it gas powered? Is it electric? What is the tonnage and output? The efficiency rating? What is the refrigerant type? Etc. And so there's no system of record that has historically existed in the marketplace that allows a contractor to essentially capture the nameplate information, make model serial off of a unit, and instantly get access to all that detail. And Specifix has built automation that will take a model and serial number, decode it for any residential and commercial equipment, and instantly allow you to have access to all those data fields to make immediately better decisions in the field about how to best maintain that equipment, or if you're looking to replace it, identify what would be the like-for-like replacement of that equipment.
So can you actually search on age of equipment?
Yes, you can. So if you had, for example, a list of, one make model serial, or you had a database that had hundreds or thousands of model and serial numbers, we can, in a matter of minutes, we can decode all of that and tell you the age of all of that equipment. Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, when I look at maintenance plans, homeowners and business owners don't really understand a lot about how long these pieces of equipment last, but we can do a great education process if we know the ages of all the equipment, and we can educate the techs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And in addition to, knowing the age, we're also able to extract the expected useful life. So we know that this set of equipment is expected to last 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, whatever it is. And because we can tell you the age, you essentially know whether it's within that useful life period or whether it's, reached beyond its useful life.
Or if it hasn't been maintained and there's cottonwood around it, how long it's not gonna last.
That's right. That's right. So Ruth, one of the exciting things, if you think about kind of the ease of capture for an asset, giving a technician something like, OCR, on-device OCR, like
Yeah,
XOI does to
yeah.
capture it. Well, now that I have it, what is this? Another way to say is, what is this birth certificate? That's what Ryan and the team have done a really good job of. Like, how did it come out of the factory? And as your audience knows, the number of configurations that OEMs provide, it's not as simple as saying I've got a 2025 Honda Civic. And
No,
yeah,
it's
there's different
not.
colors,
Yeah.
different things. It's like, no, there's a multiple different variations. And so having that is really critical. And then what we've added on top of that is performance benchmarking data. So to Ryan's point, like, hey, yeah, useful life, ASHRAE or otherwise, we can get a sense of it. But what's the actual useful life been in Nashville, Tennessee versus San Francisco, California versus,
Kansas
Detroit,
City.
Michigan, in
Kansas City
Kansas
with the
City?
cottonwood.
The cottonwood, that's right, or the salt content in Florida and
Yeah.
how that impacts useful life, et cetera. And so it starts to give homeowners or commercial building owners a really direct data set geographically and for that information quickly and allows them to make really good decisions as a result.
Cool. So, when we talked about assets, everybody thinks, okay, that they're trucks and everything else like that. But, when we really think about the assets that I look at it that customers are an asset to a contractor. They're off the balance sheet assets. This is another example of an off the balance sheet asset. If you have a maintenance plan on any piece of equipment, that you are responsible for that particular asset. And not many people look at it like that, I don't think.
No.
So, anyway, um, before we take a break, can't believe we're already at the break time. So before we take a break, if people want to know more about XOI or more about specifics, where do they go?
XOI.io.
Ryan?
Yeah, right now they can go to specifics.com and, probably over the next couple weeks and months, we'll be moving, more information of that platform under the XOI.io website as well, but specifics.com.
So Ryan, Aaron, you're going to put this big announcement on the front page on your homepage of XOI, right?
Yeah, we did a couple of press releases already, but we'll definitely bring in more and more to bear on our website for sure.
Very good. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. Are you one of the 75% of contractors whose financial statements are inaccurate? Find out. Click on the link in the show notes and you'll get a free P&L and balance sheet check. We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I'm speaking with AaronSalow, who is the CEO of XOI, and Ryan Martineau, who is the co-founder and CEO of Specifix, who has just joined forces with XOI. So during the break, I asked Ryan, all right, other than just knowing what the age and model and serial number is and all that sort of fun stuff, what else can a contractor use to set him apart from his competitor down the street, knowing about these assets?
Yeah, I think in particular in the residential market, there's a couple use cases, specifically operationally, being able to share or provide or immediately identify What are the filter size, type, and quantity for a particular unit, or belt size, refrigerant information. These are key things that would be helpful for anybody trying to maintain that equipment over time, to know and have access to. Um, Also, in the example of, maybe there's a contractor servicing a multi-family set of residential units where you could go take inventory very cost effectively of all the equipment at a particular location or set of locations that are owned by the same owner operator. So now all of a sudden you might be able to go tag or identify 50 pieces of equipment, know all the attributes of that equipment, know all of the ages, and come back and present some form of a maintenance or asset replacement plan to the owner that identifies, based on a certain set of criteria, namely, is it age, is it unit efficiency? Are you looking to go to, heat pumps or switch out to some other form of equipment, and give them a sense, an actionable plan for every piece of equipment based on the data that you've been able to collect, and say, hey, here's when I think you should replace each unit, and here's what you should replace it with and what that should cost. So part of the value proposition here is really unlocking very, very critical data that is insightful and drives that form of, decision making, planning, future planning, capital planning, that gives asset owners a better sense of how they should expect to spend money to maintain that equipment and when they should be replacing it.
So, Ryan, you don't know this, but Aaron and I were going to have a debate about AI. Oh gosh, I can't remember how long ago, probably about a year ago. And we both agree that it is a tool. And this is one incredible way to use this tool. Because back in the day, and I'm dating myself here, when I was training commercial salespeople on selling commercial maintenance, we'd go up on the roof and we'd have a piece of paper with us and we'd write down the model and serial numbers. And, we'd count, look at the belts and all this sort of fun stuff. I mean, all I would do now is click on a nameplate. I mean,
That's correct. Yeah.
so all of you out there who are commercial maintenance agreement or maintenance plan salespeople, this is something for you. It will save you so much time. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. One, Ruth, I'll give you a snippet of data from a customer we just spoke with on this exact thing. So they went and did this manual process for a customer of theirs, only on the commercial side, 250 units.
oh
It
gosh.
took them, it took them 150 people hours to go complete a capital plan. That same asset list with an XOI plus specifics was done in 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they had to go to every IOM, every manual, find the attributes, figure out what was in it. And so it's just, you can imagine the efficiency of being able to empower a sales team on the commercial side. And for the residential folks, I think just kind of putting a point on Ryan, who mentioned around consumables, most contractors are very reactive in things that they're buying for consumables, filters, belts, those types of things as needed. And I know a lot of times homeowners are buying some of that stuff themselves, but the ability to RFP at scale, not only the consumables, but also the replacements. When you've got the California heat pump initiative, you have all these heat pump kind of, push going from OEMs and efficiency ratings, A2L changes, the ability to look at your entire asset universe and go, where are my opportunities? What does this look like in terms of replacement for me and residentially and especially commercially over time? And how do I work with OEMs to get best possible pricing and support as a result? Can be a really powerful tool for, creating margin within businesses. So there's just a few other things that are possible when this data is not only available, but available quickly and at scale.
Well, not only that, it's really easy to put a budget together. We know that X number of our customers are going to replace their systems that are X number of years old every single year who are our maintenance clients. I mean, that data is out there. So you can very easily, okay, here's my universe of agreements. All right. It's real easy to say, okay, we know that on average, pretty much this year, X number are going to replace their system, other than in a COVID year or something like that, where everybody, got pushed forward. But on an average year, this is essentially what's going to happen. And you can do your planning, you can do your cash flow forecasting, and this is just makes life easy because you've got all the data.
That's right. Yep. And if you don't have it, we make it easy to get. If you want to pull it out of a different software system, no problem. It doesn't matter where this data comes from, an Excel file, a CSV, some other FSM or ERP, XOI, doesn't matter. We want to be able to provide fast, meaningful data that allow contractors and their customers to make decisions.
All right. So for those of us now, from the listeners who don't know what XOI does, you've got a 30-second commercial, Aaron. Go.
Mhm. XOI is field enablement for technicians and salespeople. So not only be instructed on the right ways to do things every single time, but also collect an immense amount of rich data that helps them do their job faster, more effectively, and deliver solutions to their customers that frankly they don't expect contractors to give them. That's one of our favorite things and what we do at XOI.
Well, my favorite thing is the technician doesn't have to write anymore.
That's right. AI summaries is awesome, and AI issue ID, Ruth, is one of the newer things too. Again, kind of the modern service sticker, we like to call it, which again is another pragmatic use of AI that is saying, hey, go look over in my entire database and tell me what the top issues based on serial and model have been on this unit, so that I have the best information possible, and I'm not looking all over hell to try to figure out what happened.
Yeah, or trying to call up support or service or
That's
whatever.
right.
Yeah. So cool. All right. So final thoughts, Ryan. Final thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Ruth. Yeah, I mean, I think that the goal here for XOI and specifics is to give really simple, straightforward, very practical solutions instead of automations to contractors and field service providers, technicians that solve real, long-standing problems and give more information in real time that make it easier to do your job day to day operationally when you're working on equipment, and also just better organize asset information that can be presented and to end users and clients about how they could use that data to make better decisions on how to optimize the performance of this portfolio of assets at scale. So that's really our goal, and that should be the main takeaway, and really appreciate the time.
My pleasure. All right. If you want more info, xoi.io. Ryan and Aaron, thank you so much for being with me today, and congratulations on the acquisition, partnership, however you want to think. I think it's a great thing that will help contractors in the long run, knowing what their assets are.
Thank you so much, Ruth, for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
All right. And thanks to all of you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.